We are in Algebra 1. We are on lesson 3-3. Today is November 14th, 11/14. Let's put the date on our paper. Make sure your name is on your paper just in case you accidentally forget it. So, one-step inequalities. So far we have practiced graphing simple inequalities. Now we're going to be applying some algebra to it. So it's kind of the same old algebra with a slight twist. So, same as equations. What is the same when I'm dealing with inequalities? Again, inequalities is that less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, or not equal to. It's not an equal to anymore. So this was the equal to, right? Equations. This was from last unit, unit 2. Adding is the same. When you add to both sides, I can add a number to both sides and it's still held true. Subtracting is also the same. Nothing new about adding and subtracting. It's the same as the old system. As long as you've mastered the old system, you are good. The same order as well. You want to first add or subtract and then do multiply or divide because we're going reverse PEMDAS. We're going up from that tree on the wall up there. You're going from the bottom to the top. And then same as the equations, multiplying positives. So we'll make this in red because it's important. Positives. So if I multiply by positive 3, if I multiply by positive 3.5, that's the same. Also dividing is the same if you're only dividing positives. All of that is the same as our old system. And multiplying, underneath multiplying, if you want to put this here, distribution is technically advanced multiplication. So if you want to add that here, you can say distribution. Distribution is the same as well, as long as you're distributing a positive number. So that's all the same. And I'll make sure that everyone has their pencil not writing so we're all caught up. And that begs a question, right? Does someone have a question about what's different, perhaps? Or maybe a suggestion on what they think is going to be different? Andres, yeah. If I specified multiplying positives, what do you think is going to be different? Yeah, Monse. There it is, multiplying negatives. Multiplying negatives. Let me come back over here and give Monse your XP. Let's come back to Algebra 1. Monse, 50 XP. Oh, I'll just give you the free 20 XP because I don't know what I'm doing. There we go. And someone else. What is our other new thing? Quiet raised hand. Andres, go for it.
Dividing negatives?
There it is, dividing negatives. Yeah, so let's look at what happens when we multiply or divide by a negative. I set up an inequality. This is true. Can we all believe that 2 is less than 6? We can all nod our heads. Yeah, I learned that in kindergarten. I know that 6 is bigger than 2. Cool. Let's go ahead and multiply both sides by a negative. What negative value do you guys want to try?
Negative 2.
-2. Okay, let's multiply both sides by -2. Here we go. -2 right there. -2 right there. I'm going to write down the numbers, but not the inequality. So -2 times 2, you're going to shout it out. -2 times 2 is, I heard it quietly, I don't even know. -2 times 2,
Oh, -4.
-4. There it is. Yeah, a negative times a positive is a negative, and 2 times 2 is 4. Okay. What about 6 times -2? You're going to shout that one out. 6 times -2 is -12. All right, which of these two is bigger? Is -4 bigger or is -12 bigger? And by bigger, I mean if I write a number line, bigger, if the positives and negatives are over here, bigger means I'm to that side. Which one is bigger, -4 or -12? Jose?
-4.
-4 is bigger, which is weird, right? Because that means that this inequality now looks like that. So that's interesting. You have to flip it whenever you multiply by a negative. So Jose, let me give you your XP before I go too far. All right, let's try doing some division. What should we divide both of these sides by? Anyone want to shout out? You don't even need to raise your hand. What should we shout out? What should we divide both sides by?
6.
Yeah, sure. But we have to divide by a negative, right?
Negative.
So let's divide by -6. So here we go. Divide this side by -6. Divide this side by -6. And can someone quietly raise their hand and tell me what fraction I have on the left, what number I have on the right? Two over -6 simplifies to what, Fernando?
1 over 3.
Okay.
Over negative 2.
Yeah, so it's -1/3 or 1 over -3. It's the same thing as -1/3. And then on the right hand side, Fernando, what do I have?
1.
Careful. -1. All right, and then the same question again. Which of these two is bigger? Which of them is more positive? Which one is on the right hand side on the number line? Is it -1/3 or is it -1? Quiet raised hand. Let me give Fernando his XP before I forget. Which one of these is bigger? Same three people. Sergio.
Negative 1/3.
-1/3, yeah. So that means this one is bigger. It is greater than. -1/3 is greater than -1. Which is also weird because it had to switch signs. Normally when you add or subtract or multiply by positive or divide by positive, this never flips. But in our new cases right here, whenever I multiply or divide by a negative, I have to flip this sign. All right, and that's what I need to write right here. When multiplying or dividing by a negative, flip the inequality. Let me come back here, give Sergio his XP. Flip the inequality. So let's try some examples out. Same as before, same as Unit 2, we're solving for x. And of course, we're going to simplify our answer in each one of these. Solve for x. What am I going to do to both sides in order to isolate x, in order to get x by itself, in order to solve for x? It's the same way of saying that 3 different ways. How am I going to solve for x? What am I going to do to both sides? Right now I have this pesky +3 or adding 3. I need to do the inverse operation to both sides. Same 3 people over and over. Cohen, yeah. -3 on both sides. There it is. -3, -3. Draw our line. And Cohen, you want to try reading off what we should have?
X is less than or equal to
-1. There it is. And box our final answer. X is less than or equal to -1, because 2 minus 3 is a -1. Nothing fancy there. And notice that this inequality sign, it didn't flip. We did not multiply or divide by negative. We just subtracted. And we know that subtracting is the same as it always was. So nothing new here aside from the fact that instead of an equal sign, we had this less than or equal to. All right. And let me come back here and give Cohen his XP before I forget. All right, this one. I need to solve for x. I need to get x by itself. Right now, x is being multiplied by 7. So, quiet raised hand. I need to call on someone new. I need to get every single person to participate at least once, and I can start calling on people twice. So if you've already participated, you can raise your hand, but I will try to not call on you. I want to call on some new people. In fact, I'm going to cold call on people. I'm going to call on you if you haven't participated. Just choose you. So people that have not participated, Josie, Jessica, Julian. One of you 3 I'm going to call on. Unless you want to participate on your own. Do you want to raise your hand on your own? No. All right, Julian.
U minus subtract 7.
Subtract 7 on both sides. You have to be careful because subtracting is the opposite of adding. Right now, we're multiplying 7. So what's the opposite of multiplying, Julian? Divide by
7.
There it is, yeah. Divide by 7. Divide both sides by 7. And then that 7 will cancel out. Thank you, Julian. Let me come back here. And can someone raise their hand, tell me what my new line should say? I'm going to cold call on someone, probably. It's going to be either Josie or Jessica. Who is it going to be? It's going to be Jessica. Jessica, tell me what to write. -2. is less than x. Like that? All right, there's a small error in there. See if you can catch it. Greater than x. Okay, there it is. Yeah, good job. There's our answer. We box it. -2 is greater than x. I'd like to also add a note. We usually like to write x on the left-hand side, so if I ever need to graph this, you can actually switch this around. So this is the same thing as, and I'm going to write this a different way, x and -2. What symbol should I write here to make sure that it's flipped correctly? So if I'm switching these two sides, what I'm really doing, and this you don't need to write down, I just want to visually explain what's going on. Don't write this down, pencil down, just sit back, relax, see what's going on. I'm going to subtract x from both sides, and now I have a -x on the left. I'm going to add 2 to both sides, so add 2 to both sides. I don't know what happened there. Add 2 to both sides, and now I have a +2 on the right. Well, I used to have this greater than symbol, but this isn't what's happening. I just wanted to flip both sides. So what I need to do now is to multiply the left-hand side by -1, multiply this side by -1, which now means since I'm multiplying by a negative, that my sign flips, and that's my correct answer. So this I do want you to write down. X is greater than, or x is less than -2. X is less than -2. So whenever I want to flip the spots, if I want to switch the positions, if I want to have x on the left instead of the -2, then I need to switch this sign. That's something that we just need to keep in the backs of our heads. If you want to switch the places of the variable number, then the sign also needs to flip. All right. Let's do example 3. Quiet raised hand. What am I going to do to both sides? Josie, thank you. Yes, divide by -5 on both sides. And that should get rid of that -5 right there. Thank you, Josie. And now I can start calling on people twice because I know everyone has participated today. What am I going to get, Fernando?
X is greater than or equal to -5.
-5, like that. Do we all agree? There's an error up here. Someone catch it. Jose.
Box your answer.
Okay, boxing the answer wasn't the error I was looking for, but we should box our answer. Someone else find the other error that was up there. Cohen.
It's x is less than or equal to,
Why should it be less than or equal to? You're correct, but why?
because you divide by negative.
I don't know what that is. Say it louder one more time.
You divided by negative.
Yes. So whenever you divide by a negative, alert, alert, we're dividing by a negative. That falls in this category, this starred thing that you're going to write in your summary. Whenever you multiply or divide by a negative, you need to flip the inequality. So we needed to flip this. It used to be a greater than or equal to. Now it is a less than or equal to. So there is our final answer. So let me come back here. What am I going to do? Fernando, you got 50 XP for getting it up there. Then Cohen caught the error. And technically, Jose also caught the error for not boxing our final answer. So I'll give that as well. All right, that was example 3. Make sure you always check if you're multiplying or dividing by a negative to make sure if you need to flip that sign. Okay, on the back, I should hear papers ruffling as you flip to the back. Example 4, solve for x. And simplify our answer. Quiet raised hand. What are we going to do to both sides? I can call on you multiple times now. Sergio. Times by 12 on both sides. Times by 12. Times by 12. I just write it like that with parentheses because I know if I have parentheses that means I'm multiplying. Whenever I multiply by 12, I'm going to get 12x over 12, and I know that those 12s will cancel out. That was the whole purpose of multiplying by 12. And then, Sergio, what do we get on the left-hand side?
X is less than or equal than 36.
36. There it is. And
Box your answer.
there it is. Box our answer. X is less than or equal to 36. Sign did not flip because we did not multiply or divide by a negative. We multiplied by a positive. Multiplying by a positive, again, was in that first category. Multiplying by a positive is the same as before. Nothing happens. That's new. All right, and our final example, as I come back here and give Sergio his XP. Our final example, what are we going to do to both sides? Quiet raise hand, I can call on you multiple times. Andres.
Times both sides by -8.
Times both sides by -8, so there it is, -8. -8. Andres, tell me what I'm going to have on the left-hand side when those -8 cancels out.
X.
Okay.
Oh wait. You have to flip the
Oh, why do we have to flip the sign?
because you're wait.
Or the inequality, I should say.
You're multiplying by negative.
Yep, so what should it be?
X is less than. Less than 56. Negative. Oh yeah, 56.
56, like that? I don't know, do we agree? Give me a thumbs up or thumbs down if you agree or disagree. Thumbs in the middle if you're not sure. He's correct, yeah. Block's our answer. A negative times a negative is a positive. You remember to flip the inequality. Did I say flip the inequality or flip the sign? I said flip the inequality. Good, I did say it correctly. And that's our final answer. Are there questions about this lesson? All right, go ahead and write your summaries. You definitely 100% need to write down this red star. You can rephrase it in your own words, but that definitely needs to be in your summary because that's the most important thing we learned today.